Okay, good morning. If we can just take our seats, Honorable Minister is about to join us with a few other delegates. Thanks so much. Honorable Minister, a pleasure. Good morning, colleagues all. I'd now like to call this very important closeout meeting for the Project on Health System Strengthening for Prevention and Control of Outbreaks of Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases in the Caribbean to order. And as the first item, I'd like to invite you to stand once more as we will spend a minute in observation and in support of the colleagues in Jamaica, who at this time are going through a very distressful moment as a result or as part of the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Thank you very much. You may have your seats. I will now invite the Hilton team to play the security briefing.
Evacuation procedure for this area in the event of an emergency. On behalf of management and team members, allow me to welcome you to Hilton Trinidad and Conference Center. Our evacuation procedure for this area in the event of an emergency is as follows. The hotel is protected by both a manual and automatic fire alarm detection system. If activation occurs, you will hear this evacuation message.
Attention, attention, an emergency has been reported in this building. Attention, attention. An emergency has been reported in this building.
The message will inform you that an emergency has occurred and you should stand by for further instructions. You will be advised subsequently by another message whether you should evacuate or the emergency has been rectified. In the event you are advised to evacuate the ballroom area, please follow the following evacuation routes. Primary evacuation route. Exit north along ballroom corridor and exit the ballroom corridor area completely and continue until you reach the pool junction staircase on your right to car park and follow the directional signs to the first level north car park at the muster point. Secondary evacuation route. Exit west through Belmont Saloon, exit doors down the emergency staircase on your left and follow directional signs to the muster point on the employees' roadway. At the evacuation assembly point, you will stand by for further instructions from our risk management department, who will account for all participants together with the organizers of this event. You will not be allowed to re-enter the building until the all clear signal has been given by the fire services or our risk management department. I do hope that your time spent here would be meaningful and uneventful. We wish all a very pleasant, safe, and productive event.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need not be reminded of the importance of preventing and controlling outbreaks in the Caribbean region. We as a Caribbean people love to enjoy our environment and share with many others that are further afield what most that are even further afield look at and envy. This is why this engagement as a group, as a community, is so important as we look at how we can learn from some of the lessons that would have been gained and the knowledge garnered during the implementation of this project, which was supported with the kind support of the European Union. The Honorable Dr. Lakram Bodu, Minister of Health, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Her Excellency Cecile Tessin, Ambassador of the European Union to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Mrs. Doreen Walsveer-Soar, expert responsible for the implementation of Samoa Agreement and summits, on behalf of His Excellency Musa Saleh Botraki, Secretary General of Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. Dr. Lisa Indar, Executive Director, CARFA. Dr. Mark Sami, Director of Corporate Services, CARFA. Mr. Vivian Rukum, Senior Project Officer, CARIFORUM Directorate, CARICOM Secretariat. Members of the CARFA Department Management Team, members of the EU CARFA Project Team, and other colleagues, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. All right. It sounds like we're ready for this fight against outbreaks. All right, so it is my pleasure to chair this morning's opening ceremony, and I am Dr. Horace Cox in the capacity of Director of Surveillance, Disease Prevention and Control at the Caribbean Public Health Agency. So with those opening words, I'd now like to call on Dr. Mark Sami, Director of Corporate Services, CARFA, to deliver welcome remarks.
Good morning, all. Thank you, Dr. Cox. All protocols having been established. On behalf of the executive and departmental management teams of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to the Honorable Minister of Health of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, our esteemed colleagues from the delegation of the European Union to Trinidad and Tobago, and the delegation of the European Union to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean states, and the OECS. A warm welcome to colleagues from the OACPS, the CARICOM Secretariat, and University of West Indies, as well as colleagues from the Ministries of Health of our member states, National Vector Control and Lab teams, and of course, our hardworking CARFA staff who have worked tirelessly over the years to ensure the success of this initiative. Today marks both a reflection and a celebration of the partnerships that made this project possible, and a reflection of the many lessons learned in our collective effort to strengthen health systems, improve surveillance, and build resilience against vector-borne diseases across the Caribbean region. The past Zika outbreak was a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities of our region, but it also catalyzed unprecedented regional collaboration. Through the support of the European Union and the EDF program, with the blessings of the OACPS, this project has contributed significantly to building laboratory capacity, strengthening surveillance systems, enhancing vector control, and advancing communication and community engagement strategies across our CARFA member states. As we bring this project to a close, we do so with a sense of pride in what has been achieved and with renewed determination to sustain and expand upon those gains. Despite the end of funding provided by this project, the work does not end here. The systems, partnerships, and capacities built under this project form a solid foundation for future initiatives, including regional preparedness for emerging arboviral threats and climate-sensitive health challenges. Over the next 2 days, as we review achievements, share experiences, and discuss sustainability and transition, I encourage open dialogue and forward-looking collaboration. In closing, I express once more heartfelt gratitude to the European Union for its partnership and continued trust in the Caribbean. I also thank the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, the OACPS, through which CARFA was able to access funding under this project. Our member states, of course, for their leadership and commitment, and to the CARFA project team for their unwavering dedication. Together, we have demonstrated that regional solidarity and science-driven collaboration can make a lasting impact on the health and well-being of our Caribbean people. Thank you, and I wish everyone a productive and inspiring meeting. Over to you, Dr. Cox.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sami. As Dr. Sami mentioned, it's not just a celebration of the achievement, because we do believe that we must take stock of how we've worked well as a group, as a community, across different sectors, across different departments, with one common goal. But also it's important for us to use the experiences that would have been gained during the implementation of the project and see how we can recalibrate our efforts. So while we do take some pride in the achievements, we certainly want to reassure that this is not the end of it. We never know when the next outbreak could be, but we are proud to report that we have certainly contributed to the strengthening of health systems, that we can be more responsive and resilient to the threats that persist. At this time, I would like to call on none other than the Executive Director of CARFA, Dr. Lisa Indar, to deliver opening remarks.
The Honorable Dr. Lakram Boodoo, Minister of Health of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Her Excellency Cecile Tassin, Ambassador of European Union of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Doreen Wolsway-Soar, expert responsible for the implementation of the Samoa Agreement and summits on behalf of His Excellency Musa Bouthraki, Secretary General of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, which we will refer to as the OACPS afterwards from henceforth. Dr. Horace Cox, Director of Surveillance, Disease Prevention and Control Division at CARFA, Dr. Mark Sami, Director of Corporate Services of CARFA, Ms. Vivian Rookham, Senior Project Officer, CARIFORUM Directorate of the CARICOM Secretariat, members of the Project Steering Committee, members of the CARFA's Departmental Management Team, members of the EU CARFA Project Team, and other colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today I stand to you, in solidarity with our colleagues in Jamaica, who the impact of Melissa has been very grave on their country. And as we speak, CARFA is coordinated with CARICOM, Ministry of Health, and others in Jamaica, as well as Ministry of Health, Trinidad and Tobago, through our Honorable Minister, for ensuring that we have a rapid response and that supplies can indeed be sent as early as tomorrow. I wish to extend a warm welcome to you all to the special closeout event for the 11th European Development Fund Program of Support for Health System Strengthening for the Prevention and Control of Outbreaks of Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases in the Caribbean. Over the next 2 days, we will review the project's achievements, consolidate lessons learned during the implementation of the project, disseminate knowledge products, foster regional collaboration and knowledge exchange, and promote sustainability and transition planning to mitigate risk associated with the increasing vulnerability and the increasing uncertainty in the funding landscape for public health. As we all know, vector-borne diseases, such as those caused by viruses and parasites, which are transmitted to humans, mainly by mosquitoes, are a major threat to the health and the economies of societies globally. More than 80% of the world's population live in areas of the tropics and subtropics where the risk of vector-borne diseases is the greatest. Vector-borne diseases account for approximately 17% of the estimated global burden of infectious diseases, with approximately 700,000 attributable deaths each year. That is grave. Through this project, valued at euros 4,195,701,000, CARFA has strengthened the health systems of CARFA member states to better prevent, control, and respond to outbreaks of mosquito-borne diseases. And I'm told that there are 12 CARFA member states being represented here today. More specifically, CARFA has supported the surveillance of mosquito-borne diseases by conducting 15,879 arboviral tests for countries over the 6-year life of this project. CARFA has trained countries in a wide range of areas, which includes diagnostic testing for mosquito-borne diseases, integrated vector-borne management, insecticide-resistant testing, use of the Geographic Information Systems, the GIS as we know, machine collaboration, and maintenance for vector control. CARFA has provided countries with entomological supplies. CARFA has conducted research which can now be used to better inform decision-making to improve vector control operations. This list is by no means exhaustive, and later today, you will receive presentations on the complete suite of products and services that CARFA was able to deliver to CARFA member states to strengthen their health systems and that of the region as a whole. You will also hear from our member states, the countries themselves, on how they have benefited from the interventions under this project and the real change and impact and difference that the project has made for health systems for mosquito-borne diseases at the national level. As I reflected on the genesis of this very important project in preparation for this gathering of stakeholders, I was reminded of the very important role played by the ACP Council of Ministers through their advocacy for the EU support for the region to combat the Zika epidemic in the Caribbean in 2016. Their efforts paved the way for the earmarking of the EDF resources under the 11th EDF intra-ACP program for a project to support CARFA to reduce the spread and impact of mosquito-borne diseases, particularly Zika, in the Caribbean region. The Secretary General of the OACPS subsequently concluded a financing agreement with the European Commission for this important project, which is the subject of today's proceedings. In that regard, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Secretary General of the OACPS, who is represented here today by Ms. Doreen Walswasser. Ms. Walswasser, please convey CARFA's gratitude to esteemed Secretary General, His Excellency Musa Saleh Batraki. I'm not sure I'm doing this correct with your names. We look forward to the strengthening of the partnership with the OACPS. I would like to extend, on behalf of the people of the Caribbean, a heartfelt gratitude to the European Union for the invaluable contribution of the European 4 million plus. CARFA will soon be providing you with a financial report through which we will document the results that were achieved through the investment in the European Union and demonstrate to you that we are a trusted and reliable partner in this region. Ambassador Tassin, your presence here today is very much appreciated. CARFA considers you, the European Union, to be a trusted partner and a friend to the Caribbean region. And we look forward to the continuation of our collaboration with you as we work together to improve the lives of the Caribbean people. As CARFA continues to deliver on its public health mandate in the region, we are heartened by the partnership of the European Union, and we are pleased to have been an implementing partner for this project. I wish you all a productive closeout meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Indar. You would have heard it from Executive Director CARFA, and I can assure you that Dr. Indar has been very invested in the project and the success of the project, to the extent that we would even have agency-wide meetings to look at how we progress in terms of achieving targets and move forward. But there's something very important that Dr. Indar would have alluded to, which is to the essence of partnerships as we look to achieve public health goals. The reality is that even though we're the sole regional public health agency, we cannot do it alone. And so as part of the opening ceremony, we're particularly privileged to have key partners in the room who will also be addressing you and sharing perspectives. At this time, I would like to call on Mrs. Doreen Walswasser, expert responsible for the implementation of the Samoa Agreement and summits from the OACPS.
Thank you. Thank you. The Honorable Dr. Lakram Bodu, Minister of Health of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Her Excellency Cecile Tassin, Ambassador of the European Union to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Lisa Inder, Executive Director of CARFA. Dr. Horace Cox, Director of Surveillance, Disease Prevention and Control from CARFA. Dr. Mark Sami, Director of Corporate Services in CARFA, and Mr. Vivian Raccoon, Senior Project Officer, Curry Forum, Directorate, CARICOM Secretariat, members of the CARFA Department Management Team, members of EU CARFA Project, and other colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor that I deliver these remarks on behalf of His Excellency Musa Saleh Batraki, the Secretary General of the Organization of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, who today conveys his warm greetings and appreciations. Today we mark the very successful completion of the 11th EDF program on health security strengthening for prevention and control of Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases in the Caribbean, a flagship initiative of solidarity, partnership, and scientific excellence. Allow me to extend sincere thanks to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAFA, for its exemplary technical leadership, and to the European Union for its enduring partnership and collaboration. This initiative was born out of the agency and shared purpose. In 2016, as alluded by the director, when the Zika epidemic threatened lives and many livelihoods across the Caribbean, the OSCP's Council of Ministers called for an urgent collective action. Together with the European Union, we were able to mobilize resources under the 11th EDF to strengthen national and regional capacities for disease prevention, detection, and response. Following that call, the OSCPs and the EU signed an agreement on the 13th of May 2019 to launch this program, now implemented by CAFA in 26 countries. At the heart of this partnership was a shared commitment to building resilience, health systems, and protecting communities from the threat of mosquito-borne diseases. This program stands, therefore, as a testament to the power of cooperation and to the tangible results that emerge when we act together. As we reflect on the program's achievements, we are reminded of why health must remain at the heart of our collective development agenda. To date, this initiative has delivered tangible results, including a few that you have perhaps already read in your reports that we wish to highlight. The completed 15,800 arboviral tests, strengthening diagnostic capacity across the region, trained 9 countries in advanced diagnostic testing, and supported 15 countries in integrated vector management. A revitalized public health awareness and the ZAP Aquito mobile app to enhance community awareness, and implementation of public education campaign promoting prevention and behavior change. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, beyond the statistics, this program has built institutional resilience, fostered scientific collaboration, and empowered communities to play an active role in protecting public health. These lessons are directly aligned with our shared vision under the Samoa Agreement that was signed in 2023 and currently under provisional implementation. Under various articles, and to be very specific, Article 47, Article 61, and Article 78 of the Samoa Agreement, we have committed to strengthening health systems and epidemic preparedness. We have committed to enhancing resilience and early warning mechanisms, and also we have committed to promoting the use of science, innovation, and digital technologies for disease surveillance and response. Together, these provisions place public health, crisis preparedness at the heart of the OSCP's EU cooperation. And I'm very pleased that Her Excellency Cecile Tassin is here today, who will essentially be able to, again, reassure and reaffirm the commitment that we have between the OSCPs and the EU in addressing our health challenges. Within this context, Secretary General Musa Saleh Batraki, as part of his reform agenda, has placed strong emphasis on global health diplomacy. To operationalize this priority, the Secretariat has established a dedicated health officer position to support member states in health policy orientation, ensuring that their priorities are effectively represented in international health negotiations and partnerships. Furthermore, the Secretary General has also signed an MOU with Global Center for Health Diplomacy and Inclusion, an advocacy arm of Health Development Partnership for Africa, Caribbean, that seeks to reinforce the South-South cooperation in health among the regions of Africa and Caribbean, thereby advancing collective resilience and shared learning across the OSCPS membership. As we celebrate the success of this initiative, our collective task is to ensure that these achievements of the program go beyond its closure. The laboratories, data systems, the community networks built under this project must continue to evolve, institutionalized and adequately financed. Under the Ndiki Global Europe Instrument and through the Caribbean Regional Protocol of the Samoa Agreement, we have mechanisms that can sustain and expand this progress. The OSCPS Secretariat therefore stands ready to continue to work closely with CAFA, the European Union, and our member states to integrate these lessons into future health, climate and development programming, particularly as we confront the intersection between climate change and public health. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to place on record that the project has shown that when partnerships are grounded in shared values and mutual trust, they deliver results that change life. On behalf of the Secretary General, I extend my deepest appreciation to CAFA, the European Union, and our member states for their unwavering commitment and collaboration. Together, we have strengthened the Caribbean capacity to detect and control disease. We have empowered communities. We have laid the foundation for a healthier and more resilient Caribbean. Let us therefore carry forward this spirit of partnership, guided by the Samoa Agreement, informed by the global health commitments, and united in our conviction that health is the cornerstone of sustainable development and human dignity. I thank you.
Yeah, those words certainly resonate. Health is the cornerstone of sustainable development and human dignity. And in the Caribbean, we do have a framework that speaks to health is the wealth of the region. So you can see how we are on the same page regarding what needs to be done to ensure that the populations are protected. And just wanted to reassure, earlier we heard the word of partnership. It kept, echoing through the room. And through the previous speaker, we also heard about solidarity, but not just solidarity in isolation, but the commitment to solidarity. And I can tell you that it's certainly manifested, but not just spoken, because the OECPS ensured that they were available to represent and to address us, and traveled from far, far away in Brussels to be with us here today to be able to share that message with you. So just to reiterate that CARF is very appreciative of the support and the commitment to solidarity that has continued to be shown. So with those words, again, the Caribbean Public Health Agency cannot do it alone. And as we've heard, we've only benefited from the kind support of the European Union. So at this time, it is with great pleasure that I welcome Her Excellency Cécile Tessin, Ambassador of the European Union to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to stand on the established protocol. Good morning. It is a privilege to be here this morning at this significant juncture as we mark the closure of this program funded by the European Development Fund, program dedicated to strengthening health systems and countering the outbreaks of Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases in the Caribbean. Just a bit of background. In April 2016, Caribbean member states were provided European Development Fund intra-ACP resources as an urgent response to combat the critical issue of Zika and other mosquito-borne disease. The program started with a robust allocation of 5 million euros. And this funding was earmarked for a project focused on reducing the spread and impact of mosquito-borne disease, particularly Zika, in the Caribbean region. The collaboration between the European Union and CARPHA has been both long-standing and fruitful from even before 2016. This partnership has facilitated enhanced laboratory testing capacity, as well as increased capabilities in surveillance and outbreak investigation. Within CARPHA and among the Caribbean member states, the skills acquired through this program have been widespread and adaptable. Capacity building in insecticide resistance training has been a significant feature of this program and will serve as an evidence-based approach to developing strategies aimed at reducing the harm caused by mosquitoes. Public education remains crucial, and adopting principles from knowledge, attitude, and practice surveys, along with derived indicators, can be effectively utilized to tailor messages to the public affected by mosquito-borne disease outbreaks. A particularly notable achievement during this program has been the relaunch of the Caribbean Vector-Borne Disease Network, CARIVECNET. This initiative goes beyond mere technical aspects, establishing solid and potentially sustainable mechanisms for inter-country collaboration among the CARPHA member states. The value of these networks cannot be overstated. With changes in climate and the increasing incidence of mosquito-borne disease, Europe will undoubtedly look to the Caribbean's experience. The European Union takes pride and honor in working alongside CARPHA as the regional entity entrusted with public health responsibility in the region. We are hopeful about continuing our partnership in the coming years. We look forward indeed to supporting further advancement in the region. And talking about the future, I'll also mention that the European Union is developing its support to local vaccine and health products manufacturing through its Global Gateway strategy. Thank you for your dedication and contributions throughout this program. Together, we will build a healthier future for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And it goes without saying, I know everyone in the room is appreciative of it. The funding landscape at the moment internationally is a very difficult one with shifting priorities. And so we really have to be truly appreciative of the support that we continue to receive from the European Union and to recognize that this is a significant investment with all the competing priorities that exist. So we truly thank the European Union for the continued support and for being with us not only at the start and beginning, but all the way through the implementation of the project. There's been constant engagement. We also recognize the delegation in Barbados as well that would have played an instrumental role in the implementation of the project. With those words, you'd recall I said it was important for us to hear from CARPHA. It was important for us to hear from partners. But there is a partner that I'd like to isolate, and that is the partner of CARPHA member states. Because all that we do comes down to supporting member states to be able to be better prepared and stronger to be able to address the public health threats that are on the horizon. And if I may, for the purposes of this forum, just single out Trinidad and Tobago, for the simple reason that CARPHA is headquartered in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, we do enjoy a very robust partnership, relationship with this member state. And of course, because we are here to celebrate some of the achievements and also to learn from experiences, we're particularly privileged to have none other than the Honorable Dr. Lakram Bodo, Minister of Health, Trinidad and Tobago, to bring us the feature remarks for this opening ceremony. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Minister.
Good morning. So thank you so much, Dr. Cox, the chairman of this morning's proceedings. And of course, to recognize Her Excellency Cecile, Tassen, Ambassador of the European Union to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Doreen Walsey. So I trust I'm getting this right. I'll say Doreen, expert responsible for the implementation of Samoa Agreement and Summits on behalf of His Excellency Musa Saleh Batraki. I got that almost there. All right, I'll try again later on this morning. Secretary General of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. Of course, Dr. Lisa Indar, Executive of CAFA. And ladies and gentlemen, it's only women here at the top of the salutations. So let me turn the page and see what happens. So of course, here, so Dr. Mark Sami, Director of Corporate Services, CAFA, Dr. Horace Cox, who is chairing our meeting, Mr. Vivian Rokum, Senior Project Officer, CARIFORUM Directorate, CARICOM Secretariat, members of the CAFA Department Management Team, members of the EU CAFA Project Team, and other colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and privilege to be here this morning, and I am told that several member states are actually here in person. I want to, of course, recognize representatives from Grenada, St. Lucia, Antigua, and Barbados, Suriname, and to say welcome, of course, to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago delegation is also here, and I understand that the Cayman Islands, Aruba, Curacao, Jamaica, Dominica, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines have also joined us online. And of course, right here at the head table, we have France and Kenya in the persons of our ambassadors. So I say a very special welcome to you this morning on behalf of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, the Ministry of Health. So we are here speaking about threats. So it's threats all around. So we are speaking, while we are trying to deal with the threats of vectors, we also have the threats of funding or lack of funding. And that is why this is so important, such an important forum. And Ambassador will speak again after this, after the formal part of this session, I trust. And of course, the threat of the hurricane that hit our CARICOM partner, Jamaica. And I just want to say, and to thank you all for observing with a moment of silence this morning, and to join in solidarity with that. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, of course, stands in solidarity with our major CARICOM partner, Jamaica. The Prime Minister, would have as early as Monday, implemented and directed an effort in terms of a collection drive, which is ongoing. As I speak right now, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health is meeting with his counterparts in other relevant ministries to try and coordinate an effort. And on Monday evening, I was part of a virtual meeting with the CARICOM health ministers in terms of trying to anticipate, but of course, no one could have anticipated on Monday evening what would have transpired yesterday in Jamaica. So, our empathies go out to those who have lost their lives in Jamaica. And of course, we give the commitment on behalf of the Ministry of Health and the government to go forward. And I want to thank CAFA, who was already prepared a package. And I'm told that that package can leave Trinidad and Tobago as early as tomorrow, if required. So our solidarity go out to our partners and the citizens of Jamaica. So ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a privilege to address you today at this important gathering, which underscores our shared commitment to strengthening Caribbean health systems and protecting our populations from the persistent threat of mosquito-borne diseases. As we are all aware, Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases pose a significant threat to regional health security, contributing to increased morbidity and, in some cases, mortality. Despite representing diverse nations and partners, we are united by a common purpose, and that is to safeguard and enhance the health and well-being of our people by reducing the burden of these diseases. This shared commitment aligns fully with Trinidad and Tobago's national public health priorities. As a government, as a minister, I recognize that we cannot do this alone, and that is why my support will continue, for partnership arrangements such as these. In 2016, Trinidad and Tobago recorded its first case of Zika virus infection, which was confirmed by the National IHR focal point. And this came on the heels, of course, of the country's recovery efforts from the chikungunya outbreak. And these viruses don't stop, do they? They just keep coming at us, coming at us, coming at us. And in 2016, the Zika virus outbreak turned out to be something that was, of concern to me personally in my capacity as an obstetrician gynecologist. And of course, the fear it would have created in the pregnant women, I would have seen in my own practice. So of course, I remember that time. And of course, we were very happy to see, the back of that, hopefully. More recently, in 2024 alone, over 2,000 dengue cases and 19 deaths were reported. We had a bad year in Trinidad and Tobago last year. These data underscore several key realities: that the mosquito vector, particularly Aedes aegypti, remains widespread, and the risk of outbreaks of Zika, dengue, and other mosquito-borne diseases is ever present. Arboviral transmission disproportionately affects vulnerable groups, especially pregnant women. I mentioned that already in my own previous capacity as a professional. And of course, infants, making surveillance, prevention, and rapid response essential. Sustained public education, community engagement, environmental source reduction, and vector control must be supported by robust institutional capacity and reliable data. And I believe, Dr. Indar and the others here, that the purpose of this closeout workshop would be to gather the information and the lessons learned over the period of this project. Regional coordination, of course, is indispensable as vectors and viruses transcend national borders. Our national efforts have been greatly strengthened by the enduring partnership with CAFA, and for this, as Minister of Health for Trinidad and Tobago, I am truly grateful. As mentioned earlier, Trinidad and Tobago is very pleased to be the host state for CAFA, and we trust that that will remain so for a long time. I'm being a bit biased here, but that would be our wish, of course. Our country continues to show progress with a notable decline in dengue cases in 2025. We keep our fingers crossed compared to 2024, reflecting to some extent the effectiveness of increased surveillance and vector control. Since the last recorded outbreaks, no confirmed local cases have been reported for Zika, I'm told, and only one chikungunya case has been reported. Whilst 15 malaria cases have been recorded this year, consistent with the annual average and mostly imported, the country proudly maintains its malaria-free status and zero malaria-related deaths since certification in 1965. In fact, I wish to highlight that for 2024, some 11,059 samples were tested for Zika and other mosquito-borne diseases by CAFA, which would not have been possible without the European Development Fund. And again, we thank you for that support. Therefore, I wish to express my deep appreciation for CAFA's partnership under the 11th EDF Zika program, which continues to reinforce our national capacity for vector-borne disease prevention and control. This is quite commendable and highlights the agency's drive towards increased surveillance and vector control. Through this initiative, extensive training has been provided for our insect vector control personnel in areas such as GIS mapping, new vector control technologies, integrated vector management, surveillance and database systems, and insecticide resistance testing. And this issue of insecticide resistance testing, of course, is very important, because whenever the mosquito and the rainy season comes around in Trinidad, all people say is spray, spray, spray. And of course, this is where the public health education and the data is very, very important. So these capacity building initiatives conducted locally and across several CAFA member states have been invaluable in enhancing technical expertise and operational readiness. Additionally, research conducted under this program, particularly insecticide resistance testing in Trinidad and Tobago, has informed evidence-based decision-making and ensured the deployment of the most effective chemical and non-chemical control options. CAFA's donations of vector control supplies are enabling a greener, more efficient, and environmentally sustainable interventions, while technical assistance from CAFA experts continue to strengthen our surveillance, prevention, and response capacity. Looking ahead, the Ministry of Health remains steadfast in its commitment to building a resilient and responsive healthcare system of preventing and controlling mosquito-borne outbreaks. Our vision is to foster a system that is not only reactive in times of crisis, but proactive, anchored in innovation, research, and community empowerment. To achieve this, we will continue to invest in innovative vector control technologies, enhance regional cooperation, and sustain public education to encourage preventive health behaviors. I also want to note that earlier this year, we would have also collaborated within the government on an interministerial basis when I would have had talks with my colleague in the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, the Honorable Khadija Amin, in terms of narrowing and closing those gaps that are sometimes present between the Ministry of Health and local government when it comes to insect vector control. So there is a collaborative interministerial effort there that was started this year, and this is really to try and close the gap as we go forward. It has been an issue for us in the past years. When several people are tasked with doing something, nobody does it, correct? So we have to ensure and close those gaps. So we look forward to continued collaboration with CAFA and the European Union as we pursue research and innovation into next-generation vector control tools, leverage data-driven decision-making, and strengthen our health systems to address both current and emerging threats. Again, as I close, I want to say a very special thank you to the EU and to thank the representatives who are here this morning, and again to thank CAFA for their support, throughout the years and in this very important effort. So I wish to reaffirm Trinidad and Tobago's unwavering commitment to the regional agenda for vector-borne disease prevention and control. Through continued partnership, shared learning, and strategic investment, we can ensure that the Caribbean remains resilient, responsive, and prepared to protect the health and well-being of all its citizens. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Lakram Bodu, for those sentiments. And again, there's nothing we appreciate more than feedback from member states, and most definitely Trinidad and Tobago. The Honorable Minister spoke about quite a few things, one being collaboration. And earlier we alluded to partnerships. I appreciated the reference to health and local government ministries collaborating, because it's only at the local level that we can really implement the activities that we would hope would result in the change that we've planned to achieve. Also, I appreciated the reference about the microcephalic cases that would have resulted from Zika, because that was particularly traumatizing at the time when we were hit by Zika, and it was so explosive. And most cases were asymptomatic or had very minimal symptoms that by the time persons realized that something was wrong, they might have been giving birth to a child that had a congenital defect. So it's important that we remember these things as we consider lessons learned and how to mitigate the risk of them recurring. So thank you for that. I would like to, at this time, just before we pull curtains down on this opening ceremony, just take a few seconds to acknowledge that we could not have done it without all of you who are in room, and even some who are not with us today. I can tell you that it's really all hands on deck effort, and it took a lot to get to where we are today. And I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate it and to invite you to give a round of applause for all the contributions that you have made on an individual and collective level. With that said, perhaps the penultimate thing that I would mention is that I really feel encouraged when, even though the vector-borne disease team, we have been at the forefront of implementation. At times we forget things, but I was reminded only shortly by the executive director of a very important activity that we have just after this. And that tells you how the entire team is invested. And to note that today we will be commissioning, just after we wrap up this opening ceremony, our new mobile insectary at the CARFA headquarters, and I know those in the room will be joining us for that particular activity. So with those words, I would like to indicate that we will now close this opening ceremony and to thank you for your participation. And by extension, to say that we will now invite those seated at the head table to transition to the room where we're going to take the photo, which is to my right. Isaiah is going to give me a wave at the back. He's right there. So those seated at the head table will transition to that room. And for those in the room, if you can just give us a few seconds, once we've settled into the room, I think the media personnel would need to transition as well. We will indicate so that you could be ushered in an orderly fashion to the room. Having said that, I would like also to mention that we need to be very efficient with the next few steps, because we are going to, after taking the photo, we will be leaving immediately to go to the bus. And so there will be a car for colleague or a few that will guide you to the bus, because we need to transition to the campus that is in Federation Park for the next activity, which is the commissioning of the new mobile insectary. So these are exciting steps. So I will count on you. Let's see how well we could continue to collaborate. Don't let us down now. And I look forward to seeing you taking the photo, getting to the bus in short order, and of course, at the commissioning of the insectary, and then we'll make our way back to the Hilton for the continuation of the activity. Thank you so much.